Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, the 21st of June, 2025. Okay. I'm gonna be reviewing over the book of Enoch. I'm backtracking. I'll go over some and I feel the need to do that. And then we'll go into our lesson. So you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine, get the meat out. These videos will connect dots for you, lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay. For those that want to support the channel, help it move along, we got our Cash App at the bottom of the screen. Okay. That too will be greatly appreciated. Our hours of operation, Tuesday and Wednesday is from 7 to 9. On Thursday nights, we have our Women's Advanced Bible Study. And that's on our sister channel, Israel Wake Up. And then Friday nights, we come back to Prophets of Awakening for our Men's Advanced Bible Study. This was 7 to 9 also every Friday. Then we got 2 Shabbat classes, one in the morning from 10 to 12 p.m. a.m. Then we close out the Shabbat every evening, Saturday evening from 6 to 7. Normally lasts about an hour, maybe we go over sometime. And then we have our advanced Bible study on Sundays. It starts at 5 p.m. every Sunday. So any of those times you want to come in, engage, listen in, or whatever, we'll be right there. So with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called book of remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Savior, our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts. Just to put a little emphasis on that, what I'm referring to is when the Lord of hosts was on Mount Sinai. Moses went up for the 40 days and 40 nights. He conveyed to Moses everything that happened in the earth from the time of the beginning until his time. That was the purpose of him bringing Moses up, to bring him up to par with everything that was going on. Okay? Because he was there in the beginning. When you go to Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, you can see Yahweh and the Lord of hosts was there. So you can't get no ancient than that. Okay. So with that being said, this channel was created to aid and assist all Hebrews, and I mean Hebrews who are waking up to their true identity in these last days. Okay. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Shabbat class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, songs. Then we have some current events, some need to know information, and then we'll open it up for questions, comments, anybody with any dialogue. And then our topic for discussion is I'm bouncing off of a conversation I had last night. This resurrection or regeneration. I'm gonna kind of dibble dabble on that, and I'm gonna get some feedback from some people with some knowledge. Okay. So with that being said, then we'll go into our scripture reading, and I'll be doing a little review of the book of Enoch, some of the things that happened during the time of Enoch that you have to know in order to move forward in rightly dividing scripture. Okay, then we'll pick a scripture and we'll pick that scripture and we'll break it down, and then we'll close out. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts, and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come this day praising thee and worshiping thee for thy might and thy power and thy great understanding. Oh Lord, the end times that you have foretold unto our forefathers are upon us. Oh Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that thou hast foretold. And thank you for another Shabbat. Give us, oh Lord, the knowledge to rightly divide thy word it is delivered in righteousness and in truth. Okay. Oh Lord, we see you so much, or we need you so much in these latter days. We will tarry, we will depend upon you because there is none else besides you. Oh Lord, you are our Savior and our Redeemer. Peace be unto you. Okay. So I'm gonna read a psalm. Okay. I'm gonna go to Psalms 37. It's about that time. Okay. Here we go. Oh, this is the true state of the wicked. It's a Psalm of David. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord, do good, so shall thou be, so shall thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give. Okay, let me get that. In the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Excuse me, 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, it says, trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord. Wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Okay, 1 minute. He seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow, cast down the poor and needy, and the slave such as beard of an upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bow shall be broken. A little that a righteous man, have is better than the riches of many wicked. Your arm, for the arm of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. The Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil times. In the days of famine they shall be satisfied, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, into smoke shall they consume away. The wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous shall show mercy and give it. For such as be blessed of the Lord, of him that shall inherit the earth, and they that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young, and now I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful, and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil, do good, and dwell evermore. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart. None of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hands, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on the Lord, keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away. Lo, he was not. And yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. Okay. Anybody got anything on that? Anything ring a bell? Okay. So yeah, I noticed is especially in these last days, everything being ratcheted up. A lot of people don't realize uh, exactly who the Lord of Hosts is. They might come into a little understanding and think they know the Lord of Hosts, but they don't really understand his role, who he is, his position, and everything. But like it says right here, I'll read a couple verses. He says, it's for nut buckets, especially right 20. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. That's what they don't understand. Just like they sacrifice the lamb on the altar. When the time comes, you got the opportunity now to get it right. But when the time comes, you're gonna go up in smoke, just like these lambs. They don't understand that. It says, the fat of lambs they shall be consumed, in the smoke shall they consume away. And another other part of that is 35. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree, yet he passed away. So this after all the conversation, after he done sent Negroes to try to talk to you, to mark the perfect man, uphold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors, here we go, shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is his strength in the time of trouble. And a perfect example of that is as Jeremiah 24, the good and the bad feed. You have no plans on coming back and recouping the wicked feed. We see what he do with them. He had the opportunity, like he said, I sent men to you over and over again. You weren't trying to hear. He's coming over with some more stuff, doing something else, breakdancing. Okay? And they don't understand the significance of that. Okay? So with that being said, we're gonna go to our current events, right? Here we go.
It has been reported that young Nigerian and African women were sent to Russia under the guise of work school program, apprenticeship, and scholarship, only to be forced to work in factories building suicide drones used to war against Ukraine. These women were told they were being admitted to study on scholarship and attend college, but what they meant was something entirely different. According to an article released on the 16th of June 2025, it says the President Tinubu's government is quietly sending Nigeria's high school graduates to a suicide drone factory in Russia in the guise of scholarship. According to them, the Ministry of Education in Nigeria.
So what you have to understand about what I'm playing is these the daughters of Ephraim. Like I told you, Nigerians are Ephraim. These the daughters, what they're doing right here, these the daughters of Ephraim.
Released an ad seeking high school graduates interested in joining a vocational training project at Alabuga Polytechnic College in Russia. Let's watch this video.
Where a scholarship scandal has left people baffled. Young citizens were promised a future in tech. Instead, they were taken to a war factory, that too in Russia. The scam unfolded under the guise of scholarship. It started with an advertisement. It promised education and vocational training. Young Nigerians were promised a better life, and a few lucky applicants got in. They received letter, air tickets, and off they went to the Russian Alabuga Special Economic Zone. When they arrived, a different reality struck them. They were asked to work inside drone factories in hazardous conditions. and in some cases there was no pay at all. These drones were the same ones being used in the Russian war against Ukraine. Multiple reports have emerged of how Alabuga has become a major weapons hub for the Kremlin. Investigations have shown foreign workers were taken there under pretenses of false opportunities. So many of the Nigerians who got there were forced into assembling war machines.
Now, it is said that the programs listed for vocational training include industrial robotics, microelectronics, industrial automation, BIM design, and chemistry, among others. And Alabuga is known to be one of the largest and most successful special economic zone of industrial and production type in Russia. A 2025 Global Initiative Against Transactional Organized Crimes report revealed that over 300 women between 18 to 22 years were recruited from around the world, mostly from Africa and Latin America, allegedly under the guise of a work-study program, and ended up working in the drone factories in Alabuga. Now, to fill an urgent labor shortage in wartime Russia, the Kremlin has been recruiting women aged 18 to 22 from places like Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, South Sudan, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria, as well as South Asian country of Sri Lanka. Now, this is not the first time a news like this is coming up. Voice of Africa published an article on this last year, October 10th, last year, 2024. Business and Human Rights Resource Center also published an article last year, November 2024. Now, this is a serious allegation, but it's not the first time it's coming up. So what do we say about that? Is it just a coincidence? And according to reports, Ukraine targets these factories, leaving young women brutally injured. I ask again, is this just a speculation? Why are our young women, young girls, being recruited to make suicide drones in Russia?
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything about that? Okay. So like I said, they got according to this, the Russians are hoodwinking Nigerian women to go over thinking they're gonna get a scholarship and get an education, higher education, but they taking them over to Russia to these drone factories, and they helping them build drones for no pay. And then the drones are being, those facilities are being attacked. Got them getting killed, injured, maimed, and all that. So, you want to do some more research on it. You had some? Okay, so with that being said, we go to the next one. So what we see right here, just like I said, when the Most High had finally the time came, the Most High saw what was happening in Egypt to his people. And he called Moses to the mountain, sent Moses. When Moses got there, they ratcheted up everything. And we see it right here. We at that point now. We can see everything being ratcheted up. Check this out.
Yeah, I got something for you. When you wake up, no, you're not staying in the house all day. No, we gonna go look for work. That's what you promised us. Around election, that's what you promised. So you gonna go look for work. So we got you something.
In the whole country.
Okay.
We're affected.
That's a shame. Well, that is a small price to pay for principle. The principle of America first. And that, I believe, is what the MAGAs always wanted. Isn't that right, MAGAs? Well, farmers, you got to stand on business.
I got to come over here and admit, y'all got me. You Trump supporters, y'all got me. Hey, your boy, he did do some good. He did do some good. Now, since he been in office, the economy has shrunk 2.8%. NASDAQ down, S&P down, shit, job loss, record highs. That's beside the point. I realized he did do something that he said he would do. He made his first steps toward fixing this economy. Because guess what? Out in Nebraska, they're hiring. Out in Missouri, they're hiring. Up in Ohio, they're hiring. Yeah. Raul and Sanchez and them going. They hiring.
Just in case you didn't hear the man, they hiring. Just in case, MAGA, they hiring. Yeah, they are hiring. But you know how it is. You know what I mean? You got like a son or a nephew or uncle, something. You know what I mean? You can't expect them to check the paper. You got to go get the paper, open up the classifieds, and put it on their pillow for when they wake up in the morning at 2 p.m. So let me help you out, MAGA. Here you go.
So y'all, AM, PM staffing service posted this on Facebook because they were looking for farm pickers. And these are the terms right here. The comments, I'm going to show y'all some of the comments. The comments, Lord have mercy.
My personal favorite, y'all know what Mr. Lincoln said. We don't have to. Why? You know what I mean? Why? With an honorable mention too, y'all should just go ahead and delete this. Y'all just go ahead and delete this. You know what I mean? Like you posted a photo from a bad angle, or you forgot that it was see-through. Like that kind of, you need to delete this. Why don't we check this out? So we got farm labor needed, American citizens only. We got that in all caps. Long hours, sun up until sundown. So basically, just as long as they can see that you're there, they want you to be there. A half-hour lunch. That's a little bit short. You know what I mean? Because if I'm out in the field, it's going to take me 10 minutes to get to and from wherever I'm eating lunch. You know what I mean? I sweat a lot. It's going to take me 7-8 minutes to stop sweating so I can even enjoy. I might as well just have my lunch on me in the fields and just sit down where I'm at for 30 minutes. I mean, really. Must be able to work in extreme heat. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I run hot. I run hot. Must be able to lift 50 pounds. Well, I didn't intend to pick that much, so I don't need to lift maybe 15, 16 pounds, maybe? Huh? Ability to lift above shoulders and to bend. Why I gotta be so hard? You know what I mean? Not everybody, well, just figure out a conveyor belt situation. Not everybody got to do that part. I've moved before. Move quickly and work under pressure. Yeah, you better be able to move quickly because you got to get to and from lunch in 30 minutes. That's as quick as I can go. You'll be paid minimum wage, and by the bucket. The faster you move, the more money you can make. Hurry on down to your local farm field to apply. And it says driver's license and legal documentation is a must. Don't let immigrants take your job. Hey, MAGA. Yeah, I got something for you.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Shalom.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's crazy, Brother Lynn. And that sound like slavery again.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So imagine that. Somebody else got something?
Good morning, or shalom. Yeah, I saw that a couple of weeks ago. My thoughts about that actually is they're not really talking to the current. They're preparing us for what's to come. or what they think is going to come or what they're trying to bring into fruition. That's part of the whole strategy of trying to eliminate the so-called DEI, the whole college issue, Job Corps, all of that to put us in a position that they think will force us back into the field for slave labor. If they can't
Right.
get us that way, then the other option would be to change the laws, which they continue to do, to try to put us into that system where these for-profit prisons will then contract with farmers in order to do it. So what they saw didn't work with getting the immigrants out. Now they realized they couldn't just make people go back out in the field. And then remember, they also tested out the law in Florida where they are trying to allow children to be able to uh, change the laws for child labor. And then I don't know if anybody saw the thing about on the federal level, they're redefining for SNAP benefits the age of dependency for children from 18 to 7. So they're not really trying to get this generation of people to come back out in the field, but they are hoping with their so-called strategy to try to create a next generation of people who will be desperate enough to return to these sort of jobs. That's why I keep saying, your job or our job, as if to say that these were jobs that were meant for us. What we have now was not. So that's my thoughts.
Right. And like I was saying before, and you see it all over the place. When you hear me say nut bucket, look at what we see the Creator doing, and look what they doing. That's like with the Pharaoh. The Creator just showed up. He doing all this supernatural stuff all around me, the Pharaoh and the Egyptians, but they don't have enough intellect or foresight to see that, I need to let these people go. And so same thing with that. You not already did what you did to them, brought them over in for 400 plus years, and did all that, and now the Most High back, and the information being poured out that he's back to get his people, and this is what you're trying to do.
Shalom.
You're so far off, and it's the same way when you dispensing knowledge, you dispensing knowledge and truth, and people are way off in left field. You giving them a golden nugget after golden nugget, and they ain't getting it. That's what and like I just read, it's a repercussion to it. It's a time limit on it. We see what the Creator did. We read it over and over again. He was telling Moses that, I already visited Egypt. I saw the affliction of my people. I saw the affliction of my Israelites. So he had been going there. But like I said, he can show up and don't have to show himself. So he saw all that. Then the time came. The party was up. And the conversation stopped. And you don't want to be in that position. Okay? And that's where we at. They trying to go back on some previously foul stuff they done a long time ago. They try to go back to that. Not a repentant spirit. They still dealing with this diabolical spirit they had when they brought us over here, thinking that they can go back to that. Okay. Anybody else got any feedback on that?
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Also, Brother Leonard, we can be looking at this to come down the pipe where we're going to be seeing a lot on our timelines, the shortage of things, because if they don't have anybody to pick these things, they're going to be rotten, in the fields. So we can be listening and waiting on shortages of items in our stores.
Exactly. Right. And the crazy part about that, that's intentional. When you understand who it is that's behind this Project 2025 and all that, these Christian nationalists, that's part of their plan. They want to cut off everything and starve us out. That all this ain't by accident.
Yes, sir. It's all planned. It's all by design. Prices is gonna go higher. You know what I'm saying? Due to, you know, the shortage of things. On top of that, look at the number of recalls here in the last month. I mean, if you guys haven't checked that, check that out. I mean, the recalls are ridiculous. So, you know, we can just see all this is by design, and look at Bill Gates that's buying up all the foreign lands. Like, they have a plan, but the Lord of Hosts has another one. So it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Shalom. I continue to marvel at the way in which they think that they can usurp our God's authority with their own, based on their own strength, their own intellect and knowledge. And they keep trying to play out what it is they want without any consideration that God has, who created all things, all people, and they still think that they can usurp his authority based on their own strength. It's fascinating to see how it's unfolding to me.
Right. I think you got to turn your volume up. But anyway, so that's what I was saying when I was talking earlier, that you wanted to, you know, the Most High God, he said in the last days he's gonna pour his spirit out. He done that, like I said, in great fashion. And then you quoting things from an elevated perspective, the Most High shining the light on it, but you want to make it say what you wanted to say when it's obviously saying what he said and what he meant to say, but you keep on want to make it say something else. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's a timeline on that. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go to our current events. Our need to know information. I've been talking about this One Africa thing. We saw what Russia doing, right, with the Nigerian girls. You know, so you got to keep that in mind. Now, this is what China doing.
Breaking. Xi Jinping reportedly comments on One Africa government. By Tukunda Mavika, Supreme Africa Breaking News SABN. Tisu Vanhu Bacho. If we don't build Africa, who will? This is big. China enters the chat. This morning, a diplomatic message shook the halls of African power. According to a high-level SABN insider, Chairman Shadow, a trusted source close to the African Union's top leadership, the president of China, Xi Jinping, has officially expressed support for the formation of the One Africa government. And no, this isn't speculation. This came directly from a private diplomatic call between Beijing and the AU chairperson H.E. João Lourenço of Angola, who currently leads the AU from February 2025 to February 2026.
Okay.
We have always supported African unity. That's why we helped fund the AU headquarters, President Xi reportedly said. But this time, Africa is standing on its own feet, and we fully support that dignity. Let's unpack what that means. The call that changed the game. Sources say the call was not a casual chat. It was a formal diplomatic exchange with high-ranking Chinese officials and African Union leadership present. China made it clear they are not trying to interfere in African political structures. They are not looking for influence or repayment. They simply wanted to affirm support for the African dream of self-governance. Chairman Shadow summed it up this way. China sees the One Africa government as the future, and they don't want to own it. They want to honor it. And that, my people, is a rare thing in geopolitics. China built the AUHQ, but Africa will now build its own ME. Yes, we respect that China built the current African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, and history will always record that generous act of friendship. But this is no longer that era. The One Africa government will now create a brand new headquarters built 100% by African money on African land and shaped by African architects. This will be more than a building. It will be a cathedral of continental power. China gave us a house to meet in. Now we're building a home to rule from. This time, no loans, no foreign influence, no external design. This is undiluted African identity, proud, raw, and visionary. We are not ungrateful, but we are ready to lead ourselves now. Global power. Africa takes its seat. Let's talk numbers. 1.4 billion people call Africa home. 30% of the world's natural resources sit beneath our soil, and we are the youngest continent on Earth. Yet we've spent decades watching the world speak for us. Not anymore. The One Africa government changes all that. Africa will speak with one voice at the United Nations, the G20, the WTO, and the IMF. And it's not a whisper. We're not begging, we're negotiating, and this time we come as one. President Xi Jinping reportedly said, "With a united Africa, the global stage becomes more equal. This is a moment for peace, mutual growth, and real inclusion. Built without hate, just with purpose." Let's be crystal clear. The One Africa government is not about rejecting the West, not about favoring the East, and not about starting a Cold War. It's about African dignity, built by Africans, funded by African money, powered by African minds, and defended by African soldiers. This is not anti-anyone. It's simply pro-African. We want collaboration, but not dependency. When Africa heals, the world heals. The structure, how this will actually work. Here's what's already being finalized, according to official AU memos and Chairman Shadow's reports. The AU chairperson will become the African president under the One Africa government structure. That role will rotate among Africa's 5 regional blocs: ECOWAS, SADC, EAC, Central, and North Africa. The current AU chair, João Lourenço, is expected to serve either a transition term or pass the baton in February 2026, depending on final consensus. National leaders, presidents, prime ministers will become state governors under the continental government. A continental ID system is being designed to allow visa-free travel and instant identity verification across Africa. And yes, the One Africa Army is now a real plan. Sources confirm the AU is finalizing documents for a permanent African peacekeeping force with headquarters in Cairo, Abuja, Nairobi, and Pretoria, deployable in 24 hours to any crisis across the continent. That means—
Okay, what do you think? Any comments on that? Anybody got any feedback on that?
Shalom, I have concerns about that, because at least about the reporting, because I thought that Mali, Niger, and one other country, Burkina Faso, I think it is, they were creating they were coming together to create one country. I think, again, based on the reporting, I don't know exactly what's happening. This seems to contradict what they're saying. And ECOWAS is still run by European or puppets for the Europeans. So it's just interesting to see how they are saying they're going to be part of this one government when they have not changed their leadership in terms of those countries that are still in ECOWAS.
Right, that's how we know this ain't scripture. But the thing about it is, if you notice, when I've been playing this the last couple of days, the first day they said is One Africa government is going to be, they're going to have a president from each country rule every year. A different country going to rule the rule Africa. Then they came back and they amended that, and they're saying that it's 5 different blocks, and AES is one of those blocks. AES is what you just mentioned: Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. So that's one of the blocks. So what you're looking at, like I said, this Pan-Africanism, and this is the European and the Boule behind this, the powers that be. So they saying Pan-Africanism. Well, who you think gonna be the first president? Tory. Tory gonna be the first. That's where they headed. Just keep watching. That's why I said all this is them. This ain't the creator. And so my point is this: what's missing out of all this? like I said, I went to Isaiah 52 and he said the Levites and the priesthood at the last, they're gonna stand up in the last days. Everybody gonna have their mouth open because of these men that he had that's ruling the world and judging the world with him. He's gonna raise them back up. This was missing in all this. Nobody is referencing the Lord of hosts. You got the Hamites. And these boule Negroes want to do it themselves. When you look in the scriptures, when the Israelites was in charge, they constantly referred to the Lord of hosts and reference him. Nobody, and ain't no Israelite man up there to reference the Most High. That's how we know this ain't got nothing to do with him. This is something that they done concocted. You don't hear nowhere that the Lord of hosts being referenced, or even the powers in heaven being referenced, because that the Israelite man is missing, especially the priesthood and the Levites. That's how you know this is a farce. Okay, any comments on that? Okay, we'll open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they heard on discussions on the women's line or the men's line, or anything you want to bring up and share? Any questions? Okay, I'm gonna play this right here. This happening as we speak. Like I said, all this, believe it or not, is a plan and a plot. Okay, let me get this. Here we go.
Every time Israel is attacked, you hear about the Iron Dome, the impenetrable shield. It's basically an air defense system. It ensures that projectiles do not hit Israeli targets. Instead, they're blown up in the sky. After the attack in April, everyone praised the Iron Dome, but this time there is no such celebration. Some Iranian users are in fact mocking it. The videos make one thing clear: a lot of Iranian missiles broke through the air defenses. They managed to hit Israeli soil. They couldn't damage much, except for the reputation of the Iron Dome. But Iran showed that Israel's airspace can be breached. So how did they do it? What changed from the last time? Well, first, some background. Israel has a multi-layer air defense system. The first is obviously the Iron Dome. It shoots down rockets and small projectiles. Its range is 4 to 70 kilometers. That's the Iron Dome, the first layer. The second layer is called David's Sling. It can take out long-range rockets and cruise missiles. The range is up to 300 kilometers. And finally, you have the Arrow system, Arrow 1 and 2. These take out medium and long-range ballistic missiles and range up to 2,400 kilometers. In April, the Iron Dome did the heavy lifting, but this time it was the other systems. So
this is an example right here I was just talking about. They supposed to be the Israelites, the people of the book. They ain't consulting heaven. They didn't create this bullshit. They ain't consulting the Most High. That's their giveaway. That's how you spot it. I don't care what they look like. They ain't referencing the Most High, and they don't have the knowledge of the Most High. Okay.
Says 90% of their projectiles hit the target. Israel says the majority was shot down. As expected, two different versions from two different sides, but pictures do not lie. There is clearly more physical damage this time around. The question is, how did it happen? Because of three main reasons. First, the intensity of the attack. The US government says this one was twice as big as the last one.
Certainly, this was a significant attack, probably about twice the size in terms of scope of what we.
So the Iron Dome is in Israel, but they're talking to a U.S. general. Get that from me.
We saw earlier, but again, we're still assessing the outcomes of this.
It's simple logic. If you fire more missiles, you have more chances of hitting the target. That's what happened here. Some of the projectiles will sneak through. Which brings us to reason number 2, the type of projectiles. In April, Iran fired mostly rockets and drones. These are not rapid flyers. They take their time to reach the target. The drones, for example, took 9 hours to fly from Iran to Israel, 9 hours. So the Iron Dome made short work of it. But this time, Iran stepped up. They fired 180 ballistic missiles. Now, these are lethal weapons. First, they're fired up to the Earth's atmosphere, sometimes even beyond the Earth's atmosphere. There, the payload separates from the rocket, and finally, it plunges towards its target, a bit like throwing a stone up in the air. Imagine the speed and the force created by such a fall. It makes intercepting them very difficult. Iran used 2 versions of these ballistic missiles, the medium-range Shahab-3 and the hypersonic Fateh-1. Hypersonic missiles can travel 5 times faster than sound. That's 6,100 kilometers per hour. Such missiles can reach Israel in 12 minutes. Do you see the difference? 9 hours in April, 12 minutes yesterday. So the speed made interception difficult. Finally, reason number 3, the lack of warnings. In April, Iran informed days in advance. So they had time to prepare their defense. And this time, there were no warnings. The US and Israel had no clue until hours before the attack. So Iran had the element of surprise, which is why they had more success than the last time. As a strategy, it makes sense because air defense is expensive business. One Arrow missile that Israel uses, one Arrow missile costs $3.5 million. One David sling costs $1 million. But Iran's missiles are much cheaper, just $100,000 per shot. So the math works out in Iran's favor. It makes sense to exhaust Israel's defenses. But also remember, Israel has American financial support. Washington will help them restock. Nonetheless, yesterday's attack made a couple of things quite clear. One, Israel's defenses are not impenetrable. With the right weapons and tactics, you can hit them. And secondly, Iran has learned from its last attack, hence the decision to ditch the slow drones and use ballistic missiles. And they have more in stock. Iran is said to have 3,000 ballistic missiles. Only a fraction was unleashed on Israel yesterday. In many conflicts, it may be enough to establish deterrence, but here it may trigger more attacks.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody see anything about that in the news?
Shalom, I have. I think it's a good strategy. What I heard was that they were, in order to try to prolong the coming in of America and these other countries, on both sides, they've been trying to just use weapons that will wear out the Golden Dome defenses. And then once they weakened it, then they were using their more powerful ballistic things. That's what I saw in the news. And like I said, I feel like their strategy is working. So they're not ramping it up and calling everybody in. They're just slowly wearing them out, making them use up all of their military stuff to shoot down what's coming in. And then once they kind of weaken them, then they start using their more powerful weapons.
Exactly, yeah. From what's being shown and what's being revealed, it ain't looking good over there. As a matter of fact, this morning I see mass evacuations out of Israel.
Yeah, I saw the same thing.
Yeah. Right.
And then where they're going is what I was talking about the other day. Was they're heading to the Greek islands, which I thought was interesting.
Right, exactly. Right, yeah. That's what I was saying when you go to Genesis chapter 10. Those are the Gentiles, and so that's where they originated from. Like I said, when you read that in the other books, other texts, it says those that go down to the sea. But in the King James it says these are the isles of the Gentiles. But when you really understand what's being said and conveyed, those that go down to the sea. So what are they talking about? Look what they eat. They eat lobsters, crabs, and all that. Even today in America, Boston and all them places, that's where they got all these seafood restaurants, all that. They eat out of the sea, which is food the Most High told us don't eat. So that's what that is. So they originated from right there in Genesis chapter 10, and they spread out from there. But they originated right there at the Greek islands. It's something like, if I'm not mistaken, 2,000 islands right there. And then from there they spread it out, but that's where they originated from. And that's why you see a lot of them migrating back there. That's where they came from. Okay. Anybody else?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. Who's selling all these weapons and all these special missiles that they talking about? Who's Iran buying them from in Israel?
Actually, it's kind of crazy, but from what research I've done, I understand I had, it's a lot of people don't know it, but it's major money. A lot of people talk about drug sales and all that, and the heroin and all that stuff, that the drugs, the cocaine and all that. But forever, go back to the Rothschilds, weapons, selling weapons dealers, and Israel is the #1 weapons dealer. So, like I said, I'm thinking that Iranians got it from Israel. So you gotta let that from them. Whether they got it indirectly, you know what I'm saying, through somebody else from a secondhand deal, but they can't be all these weapons coming if they being manufactured and made in Israel. Israel is the #1 weapons dealer in the world. Right. For as technology too, weapon technology. That's why I say this is right here this is a setup. What we looking at on here, but we're gonna watch it. We're gonna let it play out. What they showing us on here about what's happening in Israel, I think it's a fluke. Because like I said, their objective is these people for all these years, all the drama they've done is to build a temple. Now all of a sudden, this how it's gonna go out. No, this right here is a setup for them to build a temple. But we're gonna let it play out. Anybody else?
Oh, shalom, Brother Leonard, too. I wanted to say that I think it's also, we don't really have a way to confirm this footage we've been seeing of what's going on over there. So like you're saying, you think it's a farce, and I'm like, they showing us every day how improved this AI is getting. Plus, we know they're at least 50 years ahead of the technology that we can use ourselves. So we don't really know what's going on over there.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right. And that's how we've been forever and a day. Is we thinking that we got some kind of hold on understanding and knowledge, but you actually spewing what they. I don't think you spewing what they gave. If the Most High ain't poured the Spirit out on you, you spewing what they gave, which is limited knowledge. And that's why you hear me talk about thinking like a Hebrew. Our forefathers was dealing with the angels. With that, that was cut off. The Most High says that the heavens is like iron above, and the earth is brass. It means that He cut us off from the. He cut us off from the knowledge which is these angels coming down, these righteous angels. We see that is coming to an end because of the things we see transpiring on the earth and people that He raising up. We see that that's being removed. But for the longest, we wasn't getting nothing from heaven. That's why we was in the predicament that we was in. Right. So with that being said, like I said, I was in a conversation last night and I got 800 hot because you know what I mean, when you're dealing with truth, the Most High truth, and then you steady giving out information, golden nuggets, and people ain't trying to hear it. They got a whole nother agenda, yeah. So anyway, what I'm talking about for a minute before we start reading out of the book of Enoch is resurrection and regeneration. And what I want to do is get from the people on Prophets of Awakening, get a definition of resurrection and a definition of regeneration. Then we're gonna go and see which one of those are which one of those are Hebrew thought, and which one of those are in the scriptures. So can somebody want to volunteer on what resurrection means?
Shalom. I'll step out there. And my what I've come to learn is resurrection is what they're talking about in Ezekiel 37 when they're bringing the people of Israel, the true Israelites, back, bone to bone, muscle to muscle, all that coming back. That's resurrection. I mean, yeah, resurrection. Right. And then what was the other term? Go ahead.
Yeah. So who is these people you say you're gonna bring back?
The Israelites, David, the priest that goes with David, and all of them are forefathers from old.
Right, there you go.
Everybody's come after that.
There it is, our fathers.
Mm-hmm.
So we are always talking about a covenant that the Most High got with David. And we always talking about the covenant he got with Aaron, where he got a covenant with our forefathers. And that covenant is that he's gonna resurrect them in the last days. He's gonna he got a covenant with them that he says when we're gonna read that in a minute, that he promises this to our forefathers. He got a covenant with them that they was gonna go to sleep. Let's look at one example of that. So go to Daniel. Yeah, so it says Daniel chapter 12, right? I'm gonna look at it. Yeah, Daniel chapter 12. Most High is talking, Gabriel talking to Daniel. He says in verse 10, many shall be purified and made white, tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly. None of the people shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And for the time of the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh death is set up. There shall be 1,290 days. He's talking to Daniel, right? He said, blessed is he that waited and cometh 2,305 and 30 days. But he told Daniel, but go thy way till the end be, right? For thou shalt rest. You're going to die, sleep. That's what he's talking about. You're going to go to sleep and stand in thy lot in the end of time. So you're going to go to sleep where he is right now, and the Most High going to raise him back up. So this is the example. All of them understood that. You're going to resurrect them in their lot, which is 12 lots. So whatever tribe Daniel in, he's gonna stand back up in that lot. And we see it again over here. Verse 1. Verse 1 and 2 says, at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, who standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even at that same time. And at that time our people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. What book? Daniel chapter 10. What Gabriel told him. Me and Michael are the only one looking at this book. So this ain't no New Testament right here. But he's talking about the book in the Old Testament, which take you back to our forefathers, all the ones we read about. Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all them. He had a covenant with them. He's gonna resurrect them. So then verse 2, many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth. I mean, you don't get no planet in that. You see what I'm saying? And then you got nut buckets that think that I got an option to not address what's being conveyed. It says, and many of them the earth shall awake. Come on. Is that not resurrection? Okay. Some to everlasting life, and some to everlasting shame and contempt. So, I mean, you know, then to challenge that, come on. You just got the ward. You're a nut bucket. If you can't, if you trying to figure out what resurrection is, and you read this and you can't see that there's resurrection, it's something wrong. That spirit of the Most High said He's gonna pour out in the last days. The damn sure ain't pour out on you, because there it is. That's just one example. That's if you want to find out, you want to go and search out some dictionary or encyclopedia and get what resurrection means. Here it is right here. You go right here, Daniel chapter 12, and you can see resurrection. So if I go back to Daniel chapter 12, verse 12-13 says, "Blessed is he." Gabriel talking to Daniel. "Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh through the 1,305 and 30 days. But go thy way till to the end, be the end of the world, and thou shalt rest." You're gonna go to sleep and stand in thy light in the end days. So at this time right here, Daniel alive. So if he didn't told Daniel you're gonna be put in the grave, what's gonna happen in the grave? All this flesh and bones and sinew and all that is gonna deteriorate. It's the only thing, one thing gonna be left: the bones. So he didn't told him, "I'm gonna resurrect you." So that means that he gonna put all that dissolved away and left the bones. He gonna put it back on him, and Daniel himself gonna stand back up. You can't get out of there. I don't give a damn if you a Seventh-day Adventist or Egyptologist. You can't get out of there. And all the scriptures saying the same thing. It's just coming from different directions, and he's dealing with different people, but he's telling them all the same. This is the same thing Ezekiel was saying. Let's look at it right quick. Like I said, it's certain places I can't go because I'm gonna go. The fire gonna come out. I'm gonna catch a fire. So anyway, here we go right here. So it says Ezekiel 37. Based on what we just said, he says, same God, right? Lord of hosts says, "The hand of the Lord was upon me, carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, set me down in the midst of a valley which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there was a very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry." So, based on what we just read, Daniel, one of these people, he dead right here, Ezekiel 37. So Daniel, one of these people, his bones is right here. It says, "Caused me to pass by them round about, and very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry." Because that's what bones do when you put them in the grave. They get very dry over time, right? "And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, thou knowest." So we know we can live because what he told Daniel. You're going to stand back up in your life, right? "And again he said unto me, Prophesy unto these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord." So that's why this is my point right here. So he didn't say go to the White House or go to the laboratory and we gonna fix these bones. He said prophesy. So what is prophecy? It came from heaven, from the Most High. Like I said before, nobody ain't dealing. Everything we looking at, they're not dealing with the Most High. They're not dealing with heaven. That's how you know it's a forest. So he tell him, prophesy unto these bones, and say unto these bones, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. This is who came in Egypt with the 10 plagues. Okay. "Thus says the Lord God unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live." So what you mean? He already did this before with Adam. This ain't nothing new. He did this with Adam. I will lay, here we go, what I just said. I will lay sinew upon you. Bring up flesh upon you. The same way it left. When Daniel died, the sinew went away. He's just reversing it. He bringing it back. He says, I will bring flesh upon you, cover you with skin, put breath in you, and you shall live, and you shall know that I am the Lord. So why he say that? Why he say that you'll know I'm the Lord? He got a covenant with the Israelites. They know him. Before they got put in the grave, they knew him. So when you wake him back up and put everything back on him, we know he can do that. When he stand back up, we're gonna see the Lord again. And he gonna know. He resurrected like he told him. You can't. Egypt ain't got shit to do with this. Mathematics. You know what I'm saying? I'll be bedazzled at some of the conversations these Negroes come up with. And like I said, I'm gonna get 38 hot. So, you know what I'm saying? I gotta, oh yeah. So anybody, do that make any sense? Is that an example of resurrection?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody got any comments? Okay. Can we get a definition of regeneration? And then we'll see if that's Hebrew or is it biblical?
Right. Shalom, Brother Leonard. Regeneration, from what I understand, they call it reincarnation as well. And the thing about that is that that understanding, they believe that you're coming back as something different. You know, you're not coming back in the same body, or you know, you're not coming back in the body. You might come back as an eagle, or you know, some BS like that.
Right. So let's look at it. Right. So we know how we get a wicked spirit, right?
Yes, sir.
The angel came down, slept with the women. Those giants didn't come from the Most High. The spirit that was in them, it was created on the earth from angelic DNA mixing with women's DNA, right? And on the earth. So when that person died, and just like I said, the body dissolved, flesh go away, he ain't coming back. And that spirit didn't come from heaven. The Most High said it's bound on the earth. So what did that spirit do? What was being told to us that spirit do? It goes to and fro in the earth looking for a body. Huh? There go your regeneration. It's wicked as hell. That's the orders of that. And we looking at the wholesale today. We looking at it in the movies and everywhere else. When on the movie they're showing you, they're making these androids and all that. What spirit you think in that android? Or these bodies they making, these regenerating bodies they making. We saw on the movie Get Out what the lady had, the psyche had the ability to do. She had the ability to take the spirit that the Most High put in a person, send it to a certain place to let this other wicked ass spirit come in. That's regeneration. But the Most High, when you understand who he is and his creation in heaven, can put you to sleep and raise you right back up just like who you was. Like he said, take a nap. And when the nap is through, he raised you right back up, put the sinew and the flesh and all that back on that same body, and put the same spirit back in it and stand it up. That's what resurrection is. That's who the saints are and the Most High that's going to take the kingdom at the end. Any comments?
And shalom, Brother Leonard. I seen in reading all of the other books that they took out of the King James that since Adam, we were always commanded to take our father's bones with us. And when I first became a part of your class, I had always wondered why that was when I kept reading that until I got to Ezekiel 37. And, you know, he's saying that the house of Israel is going to be raised up.
Right. And then he says it. I mean, like, you got to be you certified. I mean, this for somebody that if they haven't arrived there, this is how you get a certified nut bucket. Let me read this right here. It says, it's the Lord of hosts talking, and he says, I'm gonna start at verse 10, Ezekiel 37 and 10. So I prophesied. Ezekiel did what the Lord told him. I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came into them, and they lived, and they stood upon their feet, and exceedingly great arm. Ain't this what he told Daniel? Right here. He resurrected him. 11. Then he get specific. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones, the ones in Genesis, Ezekiel 31, 37 and 1 and 2, these bones are dried, and our hope is lost. No. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones is the whole house of Israel. Let me tell you who the bones are. Can't be us. We ain't dead. We got flesh on us. The children, the descendants are still alive. You can't be talking to us. He says, the whole house of Israel, behold, they say, our bones are dried and our hope is lost. We are cut off from our parts. That's when somebody died. Come on. 12. Therefore, prophesy and say unto them, thus says the Lord God. Right? This ain't Ricky from down the street. This is who showed up in Egypt. And what we saw what he done in Egypt. So he said, behold, O my people, I will open up your graves. Come on. Shit, it ain't but one definition for grave. You ain't got no whole bunch of choices on what a fucking grave is. Excuse my expression. You ain't got no choice on what a grave is. There ain't but one definition of what a grave is. That's why he said. He says, behold, my people, I will open up your graves, cause you to come up out of your graves. That's what he told Daniel. And I will bring you into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, when I have opened up your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. And I shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. And I will place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I the Lord, have spoken it and performed it, and said the Lord. So my question is this, and I'll be through with this, is, has anybody on the line died and came back? Ain't nobody on this line died and come back. So he ain't talking to us. Whoever he talking to, they died. And he got to resurrect them. That ain't but one group of people. That's our forefathers, the ones that we've been studying about ever since we woke up. There ain't no way to get out of that. And then if you try to get out of it, you're a nut bucket. Point blank. And that's what I'm gonna call you. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? Everybody good? Okay. So with that being said, yeah, somebody got something?
I was just going to add a comment to say that just how you know that the people in Israel now are not the real people either. Look what they're doing. They're trying to force a prophecy that they modified, and they're not like you said, they're not dependent on God. They're not dead. They ain't came back. So what they doing? They walking on their feet to another land that's not even theirs either.
Exactly.
To the degree that there's somebody else there now.
Right. And then on top of that, that's why I say you got people that's thinking that the information that they dealing with came from the Most High, from our forefathers when they didn't, because those are them. These people they're the ones that what you spewing is what they talk, what they done say, what they believe in. Like I said, David keep telling us over and over again, these people go down to the pit. When they die, they go down to the pit. That means they ain't no life after death for them. But our spirit rises. That's the purpose of these angels that we're gonna deal with in a minute in the book of Enoch. They like he said, a hen. He watching over the spirit, not the flesh. The flesh don't live forever. He can play with the flesh like a yo-yo. He can create it, dissolve it, create it, dissolve it. He can do that. But the spirit is what he dealing with. When that person dies, and they're Hebrew, they rise. And they chambers they go to in heaven. Like he said, Abraham said he rose and he went to his fathers. And then Daniel rose, he went to his fathers. What fathers? The ones from his tribe. Okay. So everybody good on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna start reading out. I had another conversation too last night about, so I'm just kind of going back. Kind of understood that, but I got a good bigger picture on last night that it's a lot of people that's dibbling dabbling in the prophets of awakening, and they looking at this information and they depending on it. So I'm gonna go back to the book of Enoch, right, and deal with some things that were said in there. So, like I said, I'm not gonna play with what was revealed to Enoch. I ain't gonna play with it. I ain't got no excuse. So anyway, I'm gonna start out and I'm gonna read chapter 67 because this is where a lot of the drama came from. Okay. So it says, and maybe probably I'll bounce off of this tonight too, this evening when we close out. There ain't nothing like closing out on the Shabbat with Enoch. Okay. So anyway, in verses chapter 6. So we can see that what's being conveyed in chapter 6 of Enoch is the same thing conveyed in chapter 6 in King James, but in the book of Enoch, it's go more into detail and it's more clarifying. So it says, it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters and angels. The children of heaven saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and begot us children. So let's look at that right quick. It says, the angels, the children of heaven saw and lusted after them. See that? So something wrong right there. So let's look at that. Let's put it in perspective. Ain't that what Satan did? They don't tell you that, but he looked. And he came to the garden and lusted after Eve. So this ain't nothing new. Matter of fact, this is where they got it from. So 3, and Simjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will indeed agree to this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of this great sin. How you know that? Because it already happened with Satan. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual implications, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swore they all together and bound themselves in mutual implications upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual implication upon it. These are the names of their leaders. This is what the King James don't do. So I'm not going to try to pronounce these names. It names all of them. right? Then you get down to chapter 7. All the others together with them took to themselves wives. Each chose for himself one, and they began to go in unto them and defile themselves with them. So, like I said before, it ain't hard to figure out what they did. Like I said, they weren't playing marbles. They went into them. That only mean one thing. You got Negroes who they'll go around in a circle for 2 months on what that means. Okay, so it says, and they taught them. See that? They taught them charms, enchantments, cutting the roots, made them acquainted with herbs, and they became pregnant. And they bore great giants whose heights were 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. So I'll read it again. And they taught them charms and enchantments, cutting of the roots, and made them acquainted with herbs. See that? Ain't we acquainted with herbs now? 4. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, fish, to go to and to devour one another's flesh and drink their blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless woman. So this is the woman right here. Like I said, which one is the woman? Is wisdom the woman or this right here? It says the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. Why? Because this is the woman. It's the Most High woman. He told him. Right? Anyway, chapter 8. Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, the breastplates and the ornaments and the use of autonomy and the beautifying of the eyelids, all kinds of costly stones and all coloring utensils. This is what they brought. Still here today. And then you had Negroes talking about the Lord of hosts is a wicked angel because of he contradicts what's happening in the Ten Commandments. When the Ten Commandments say, don't kill, he says don't kill, but he turn around, he killing. He killing because of this. He the judge. Azazel taught men to make swords and knives, shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, the art of working them, the bracelets, the ornaments, the use of autonomy, the beautifying of the eyelids, all kinds of costly stones and the coloring. This is wickedness. He the judge. This is what I mean about a nut bucket. You can't compare what he doing to the Ten Commandments. If you understand what happened right here, 200 angels came down, and they taught this, and we still dealing with it today. And there, look at this. Because of that, there arose much godliness, and they committed fornication, and many were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. So this is what the Lord of hosts doing. And these 7 angels dealing with this corruption. And so you can't come with this kind of corruption and pour water on it, like to say with the baptism. You got a nut bucket, you dip them under the water, all you're gonna do is bring up a wet nut bucket. That's all you're gonna do. You just got him wet. So anyway, it says some jars are taught enchantments and cutting of the roots, aroma, resolving of the enchantments. Burgar taught astrology, Quarterbell the constellations, Ezekiel the knowledge of the clouds, Eriquel the signs of the earth, St. Jaza the signs of the sun, and Seraquel the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. See that? Like I said earlier, they cry went up to heaven. You don't see this happening now. They ain't dealing with heaven. So, any questions so far? That was 6 and 7 of Enoch. So I'm gonna read 9. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw, much blood being shed upon the earth, right? And all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. Now, there we go. These Negroes say Michael is a wicked spirit, right? And he's shining a light like he's an angel of light. That's how you rightly divide it. If they say one thing and do something else, and they objective is that he didn't gave Moses the 10 Commandments, but he turned around, he violating all those 10 Commandments. He killing and he's sending people to kill and all that. So let's read it again, verse 9. We just saw what these 200 angels did. Then now we're in chapter 9, verse 1. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw the blood shed upon the earth and lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna come down and they're gonna pour Kool-Aid on the lawlessness, or they gonna start cutting off people, killing and devouring stuff. Okay, he says, and they said one to another, the earth made without inhabitants cries, the voice of their crying crieth up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. And they said to the Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth unto all the generations of the ages, and thy name holy, glorious, and blessed unto all ages. So let's go back. It says, they said one to another, the earth is made without inhabitants, cries, the voice of their cry cometh up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls, check it out. And now to you, the holy one of heaven, the souls of men make their suit. So what souls? You know, this is for the nut buckets. What souls? The ones that rise. They up there. Where he at? See that? And now to you, this is verse 3, 18 of 9 and 3. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men. That's Enoch. Not Enoch, but Adam and all of them that died. They up there with him. So they says, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. See that? These same souls that he bring back to the earth in Ezekiel 37, and put their do reverse osmosis on their bones, and put the spirit back in that same body. So it says, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. And they said to the Lord of the ages, the Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, God of the ages, throne of the glory, standeth unto all generations of the ages, and thy name holy and glorious and blessed unto all the ages. They ain't dealing with him. This is what I was saying earlier. They ain't dealing with him. Everything you see in Africa, they ain't dealing with him. It says, thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou. And all things are naked and open in thy sight. And thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. This is what I was saying earlier about being consumed with smoke. You're thinking you got some options. The Most High stay trying to line you out and bring the truth to you, but you think you got some kind of option that only lasts so long, and then you get a puff of smoke. Okay, thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou, and all things are made and open in thy sight, and thou seest all things. Nothing can hide itself from thee. Thou seest what Azazel have done, who have taught all the unrighteousness on the earth and revealed the eternal secrets which were kept in heaven, which men were striving to learn. So this is my point. I want to shine a light on this, because it's just man. So it says 6 says, see thou what Aziel have done. So that's his name. You can't. He's not talking to. He ain't talking about Aziel seed. He got a name. Like David. David got a name. If you want to talk about David's seed, you're gonna say David's seed. You're gonna say the house of David. But when he say David, he talking about David right here. The average nutbuck don't even know who Aziel is, but the Most High know who Aziel is. He the one who gave him the name. So he says, thou seest what Aziel. He talking to Aziel. Aziel came down and he the one brought all this knowledge to the mankind. Most of it. So he says, which men were striving to learn. So Simzaza. So you can't put nothing else on that. That's his name. The Most High named him. That's who he's talking to. That's why he's saying his name. To whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over associates. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth and have slept with the women and have defiled themselves and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness. So let me go back. It says right here, verse 7. And Simjaza, right, like I said, he didn't say Rodney or Ricky, he says Simjaza, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over associates. That's specific. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth and have slept with the women and have defiled themselves and has revealed to them all kinds of sins. So this is associated with Simjaza. That's why he calling Simjaza's name out. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has hereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness because of what Simjaza did. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died. Oh, see that? Just go back to Ezekiel 37. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making soup to the gates of heaven. See that? So they not in hell. These righteous people that died and they soul sent it to heaven. The purpose of these 7 angels. They escorting these souls back and forth from heaven. When at birth and the conception, they bring the soul and put it in the woman's womb, and then when that person passed away, they escorting the soul back to heaven. So these souls up here that he dealing with is crying out to him. He says, and now behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are wrought upon the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou sufferest them, and thou do not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. Now here we go. Then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One spake and said to Uriel, that not Ricky, he said to Uriel to the son he sent Uriel to the son of Lamech and said to him, go to Noah and tell him in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, and that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the earth. And he will destroy all that is on the earth. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the earth. And then 4. And again, Lord said to Raphael, bind Aziel, hand and foot, cast them into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudel, and cast them therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face, that he may not see the light. But this is the point I want to make. Verse 4, he says, and again the Lord said to Raphael, bind Aziel, hand and foot, right? So both of these angels. So for some reason, Raphael more powerful than this other angel, than Aziel, right? It says, bind Aziel, hand and foot, cast him into darkness. But check this out. This is what people reading over. Cast him into the darkness and make an opening in the desert. Let that ferment. What are you talking about? Okay, dimension. Opening, he got that ability. You make a dimension, put him in that dimension, and close it back up. Okay, let that ferment. Anyway, so anybody got a question so far? And then here we go right here, verse 12. This is Enoch chapter 12. Before these things, Enoch was hidden. No one of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what had become of him. So Enoch, this is who he, not JC. This is where they get JC from. So I'm gonna read it again. Before these things, Enoch was hidden. No one of the children of men knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what had became of him. He just disappeared. This is where they get JC from. And his activities had to do with the watchers, and his days were with the holy ones. So right here, this is for the nut buckets. So two, the activities had to do with the watchers. That's the angels, 200 angels. And his days were with the holy ones. That's the seven. The seven, the holy ones and the watchers is different. So if you can't rightly divide that, you already going left. Then 3, and I, Enoch, was blessing the Lord of majesty and the King of the ages, and lo, the watchers, that's these wicked ass angels, called me and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers of the heaven who have left left the high heavens, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of the earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. So right here, like I said, I was holding a conversation, and the person said Michael is giving them the 10 Commandments. He defiling the 10 Commandments, right? He doing what they do. So right here, verse 4, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers of the heavens who have left their high habitation, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done, see that? Have done as the children of men do. So these angels, these watchers, these other ones, you can't compare them with what men doing. Like I just showed you, he told Enoch, make an opening in the desert and put him in there. Shit, Enoch can't do that. David can't do that. He talking to Raphael. Make an opening in the desert and put him in there. Come on. Says, and Enoch went and said to Aziel, thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence have gone forth against thee to put thee in the bounds, and thou shalt not tolerate nor request to grant it unto thee because of the unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godliness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast done. So, like I said before, back to these names, Aziel brought all this drama to the earth. Can the Most High go and tell Ezekiel to bind Aziel? Hell no. He got to send Raphael, Gabriel, or one of them. You can't send Gabriel Jehoiakim to go bind Aziel. And like I said, this is thinking like a Hebrew, and then it's Bible 101. So the Most High, he ain't throwed off to where he gonna make a mistake and tell Ezekiel to go behind Azazel when knowing Ezekiel gonna get tore out the frame. So when he says that in the last days he's gonna raise David up, he ain't made no mistake. He didn't make no mistake. And if you ain't getting it, you off. Okay? Go to 20 right quickly, and I'm gonna close out. So it says, chapter 20. Like I said, this is what you have to know in Genesis 1:26, when he said, "Let us make man in our image, us." And also when they came down to the Tower of Babel, let us go down and see what man has done. This too is he's referring to Enoch chapter 20. These are the names of the holy ones who watch. Uriel, one of the holy ones, one of the holy angels who was over the world and over the tortoise. Raphael, one of the holy ones who was over the spirit of men. Rigel, one of the holy ones who takes vengeance on the world of luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. The best part of mankind is Israel. That's when he inherited Israel. Seraquel, one of the holy angels, who is set over spirits, who seeing in the spirit. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, who is over paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. Remiel, one of the holy angels, who goes and set, who God set over those to rise. So right here, like I said, they all got names, right? Their names mean something. So Yahweh can't say, says Uriel is over the holy angel is one of the holy angels. He's over Tartarus. So the Most High can't say, tell Gabriel, go to Tarsus. Uriel over Tarsus. He gonna call Uriel, just like Gabriel is over understanding. Gabriel over understanding. So when Daniel said, I don't understand, who came? Gabriel came. It wasn't no accident. So our forefathers understood all that. We don't. We fumbling with it. But they understood all that. That's why every time they asked them their name. Because their name lined everything out. If he said, if the angel come to Ezekiel and Ezekiel tell him his name is Uriel, well, Ezekiel already know. He over Tartarus. He over hell. Gehenna. And Gabriel, if you tell him my name is Gabriel, he gonna know. Is this the angel understanding? Well, hell, I can ask him anything I need to ask. That's why they asked the name. Okay? Any comments or questions? Like I say, we're dabbling in some more this evening. Let me get this right quick. Oh, Lord. What's up, my man? Can you hear me? Come on. You gotta unmute your mic.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, y'all can hear you now. Yeah, I had got hot, man. I didn't even see you down there. What you got?
Oh man, I just woke up, man. I'm sorry I'm so late, man.
No, it's all good.
Feel like a delinquent, man. My bad. Dang.
Yeah, it's all good. We're gonna be back at 6 to 7 for to close the Shabbat out, so it's all good.
Okay.
We're dealing with. I was just doing a kind of like a review of Book of Enoch. Just what I'm saying.
Yeah, yes, sir. I just heard you saying something about what the angels was over, like Gabriel was over understanding.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Man, it sound like it was a good lesson, man. I missed out, man. Dang.
Oh, no, it's all, you can go back and listen to it, but it's all good. We're gonna go back in there again this evening. Right.
Okay. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was telling AJ, man, about it's certain places I can't go, bro. I'm gonna get hot, man. You know, I got 5, and you know, and especially where we at right now. I just he doing a good job. But I can come in there for a minute, but I can't hang around there, bro. I'm gonna get hot. So especially with nonsense, bro, I'm gonna go off.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I understand.
right. So yeah. So anybody else got anything else before we go? We're gonna pick a scripture. Somebody got to pick a scripture so we can read it and break it down before we leave.
Shalom, Brother Leonard. Can we go to Hosea 13?
Okay.
I'm gonna read Hosea 13 and 14. Oh, yes, sir. So it says the sorrows of a travailing woman shall come upon him. He is an unwise son, for he should not stay long in the place of the breaking forth of children. I will ransom them from the power of the grave. I will redeem them from death. O death, I will be your plagues. O grave, I will be your destruction. Repentance shall be hid from mine eyes.
Okay. What you got on that?
Well, it's really just a question, but they were referring to the house of Ephraim in a few verses before the ones I read.
Right. It sounds like resurrection to me, don't it?
Right, yes, sir. That's why
Right.
I read it.
Exactly. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's all over the scriptures. Once you get the right spirit and thinking like a Hebrew, you can see that the Most High he's all about resurrection. He constantly telling the prophets in them that he gonna see them again. And so, like I said, he can't be talking to us. The oldest person on here is probably about 60-some years old. He ain't talking to us. And Tanakh, he ain't talking to us. He got a covenant with our forefathers. And that covenant was that he's gonna resurrect them. Righteousness. That's one of the perks of being righteous. He's gonna resurrect them in the last days. They was gonna judge angels and judge earth. That's like I said, that's Bible 101. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say I got this Como called me last night, so we got a new person that's coming on engaging with us. So I mean, if you want to say shalom, so
Shalom, everybody. I appreciate y'all having me.
okay. Yeah,
Shalom.
so with that, So with that being said, I'm gonna see everybody this evening at 6 for our we're gonna close out the Shabbat. We say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all this evening.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
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 I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.